Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, New Orders America. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So, South Africa is a little bit of a mess right now. We might actually end up losing 2 divisions, which is a shame. But again, American lives are cheap. We can replace them pretty easily. It's not that big of a deal. But for now, can you last stand again? You're at 8 hours. I mean, you're about to lose your strength. So, it's really, really not good. We have some more tanks. You know what? Let's send in an infantry division. I don't know if losing troops makes a difference here. Send volunteers. We can send 8 divisions now? Okay. Well, if that's the case, let's send in you and you. Because, wait, no. Let's put you back. Okay, a volunteer has arrived. I mean, if we can send 8, and we've sent, this will be, I mean, no, because we just lost an extra unit. But see, now it's like broken again. It won't let me, because it just said 8. 8 eligible division not sent to any army. Okay, first you go back here. Let's get this guy back into this. I want you to go up there as quickly as you possibly can. Send volunteers. I think it might just be a little broken. Okay, so things are really bad if we lose the city. So the Afrikaners are taking back this city. Liberation of Johannesburg Republic has regained control of its industrial core. Like, not good by any stretch of imagination. Let's stretch you over 2 provinces instead. And can I... See, now you're 3 out of 2. So I don't know why you're... Because it just said 8, right? Like, I'm not crazy. The Prince of Principles. Lyndon B. Johnson and Margaret Chase Smith were both a rare breed of politician in Washington, having both crossed the aisle in their careers, but Smith had ditched Republicans after the formation of this national party, and they despise each other for it. Now they watch the latest news on the ongoing scandal in the Senate cloakroom. In bitter silence, Johnson took a long drag of a cigarette before turning to Smith. You stabbed us in the back over principles, and now you get to watch us burn for Nixon's skullduggery. Must feel nice. Doesn't feel nice at all. It's infuriating. Watching how Nixon took an axe for democracy, Smith replied, playing with a rose on her dress. I'm glad some of you are speaking up. I just wish you had found your moral compass sooner. You don't get it, do you? Johnson stubs out his cigarette. Nixon went too far, but politics is about numbers, and I'll take votes in my pocket over tilling the windmills every time. What does that make you, Lyndon? A man of empty ambitions? A fair-weather friend without a purpose? Just watching, Market. And when you get out on your next crusade, remember to check if anybody's coming along for the ride. Okay, let's see if we can take this province. Can I send volunteers now? No, it still says 1. I don't know if I've broken something or what. So next up, foreign policy decisions. Global conflict. Anything we do in Haiti right now? Support security services. Let's expand you some more. And then in South Africa, on the home front, this all requires a ton of political power, which I don't have. So I guess we just ignore it for now. Operational failure. That was for stabilizing Iberia. Okay, give you a little bit of support. Suffering you don't see. The resupply mission had been a relatively sedate trip, but Bernard hadn't minded it much. A break like this after covering the anarchy of home was a welcome change of pace for him. It was certainly livening up his soldiers' escorts to know that they will be mentioned in the next page of New York Times. While surprise around the Greenland wouldn't often be relegated to the back page of most copies, Bernard didn't mind. Again, peace came with a hint of isolation. As their ship came to dock in Nook, the notion of peace began to fade in his chest with the lone reporter. Sweet Mary, mother of, he murmured. He took a moment for the soldiers adjacent to him to notice what they were both staring at. My God. Mr. Lefkowitz, what does it look like? He could barely finish his sentence before they both realized what it was. Their course of the dock was currently blocked by what seemed to be a half-floating tent city. At the moment, the deckhand walked to the pair, hands deep in his pockets, a grim fist illuminated by a cigarette. Oh, that right. Sometime last month, one of the residential sectors burnt down. It's not made much of a difference. Damn the shame. All the churches, all of them got overrun real quick. And now the ones without family stay with their friends, and those friends are homeless too. Unless they're out here. Guess the dumpsters got full. You know them. The 8 smirked. Fucking hobos. Anyway, how about we start clearing them out? Might take a while, but there are some MPs readying up from last time from the captain. Bernard and the soldiers stood in stunned silence. Both of them turned back to the dock. Sure enough, the APC had begun rolling towards the entrance of the pier. They had no way out. Bernard stood still for a moment longer, maybe more, then immediately took his camera out of the bag and adjusted for distance. This could well be the story of a lifetime. The territories have always suffered in subdued silence. Yeah, we really want to take Pretoria back. Or Johannesburg. I want to take both of them if possible. So is there anything that are we missing anything? We're missing I think these are anti-tank. We're missing actually infantry equipment as well. And we're actually missing some M95A1s. So let's start building up some more of those guys. M91 A1s. Where are they? There they are. Let's double production on you. And it's been a tick, so maybe now I can send volunteers over. No, still one. Wait, are these the 3 I think these are the 3 volunteers that I thought died in the Philippines. Actually, they're still alive. Wait, no, they're not. I'm stupid. These are the 3 men I'm trying to send over to South Africa. But yet it's still a little borked. Is there supply in Johannesburg as well? How are the rest of the fronts doing? Like, you're holding on. You're kind of holding on. It's really like a stalemate right now, which is a bit of an issue. Hawkishin's at 47. Thing is, you have no supplies here. Are you on, I'm stupid. I should have had him on max motorization this entire time. That's my bad. I will completely admit that. Unassigned division. Don't worry about you. Don't worry about you. Doctrines available. Let's get our strike groups. I mean, what province are you? You are a mountain, which is a pain. You know, what if I shrink you down again? If you're all in one province, we can support that, which is nice. Generate no threat. Will you please just allow me to send my 8 divisions? I don't know what I've done. I don't know what I can do to make you happy. I would like to do that, though. Brazil sent volunteers, though. That's nice. Thank you, Brazil. What's Johannesburg? Johannesburg is just hills. What we should do is just all attack in one massive push like this. And just walk one province at a time. Our tanks, though, are super heavy tanks. People were saying, you know, that their super heavy tanks are not actually that good. And you know what? You're probably right. But I think it's still fun to send a 4,000-ton tank into South Africa. Though the earth be moved. Suddenly, the whole harbor of Elise began to empty. Drains almost dry. A subterranean chasm opens directly alongside the ship. Slowly, the channel starts sinking down into it. Soon, only its masts can be seen from the top. The dock splinters. Goes down with it. While crewmen try frantically to reach the people on it, no one on the docks of Elise could survive. The longshoremen, the kids, or their dogs. The earthquake struck central Alaska at 5:36 p.m. today for nearly 5 minutes, causing massive fissures that damaged roads and buildings across the state. Subsequent tidal waves brought further devastation to settlements along the southern coast. Reporting an epicenter near Prince William Sound, only 78 miles east of Alaska's largest city. Initial analysis from the United States Geological Survey indicated a magnitude of 9.2, stronger than San Francisco's in 1906. Governor William Egan had declared a state of emergency for the entirety of Alaska, mobilizing the state's National Guard to begin initial disaster relief in Anchorage and the port of Valdez. President Richard Nixon followed suit by directing the Naval and Coast Guard to conduct search and rescue operations along the coast. However, inclement weather conditions and damaged infrastructure may preclude more extensive relief operations until Sunday at the latest. The total damage and casualties from the earthquake are yet to be determined, although estimates are for both are high. Alaskans reportedly caught off guard due to the preparedness of the Good Friday, and the event's sudden occurrence had left them with no time to react either to the tremors or to the tsunami. Metropolitan Ambrose of the Orthodox Church in America had called for Alaskans of every faith and creed to treat their fellow Alaskan with the benefits worthy of our Lord God as we rebuild from the tragedy that struck this great and holy Friday. In 5 minutes, the devil swallowed the whole town whole. Only 0.3 levels of damage? That'll be repaired within the month. You don't got to worry about that one bit. Esquat's Revenge. As families across Alaska were sitting down for dinner, a sudden series of tremors erupted, lasting almost 5 minutes. After the dust had settled, over 100 people lay dead in what now is known as the most powerful earthquake in North American history. In addition to the tremors themselves, the state had been racked by landslides, fissures, and tsunamis, as well as the widespread destruction of roads and railways. The rescue efforts are ongoing, with survivors and bodies being pulled from the collapsing building in Anchorage. But emergency services were woefully unprepared for the disaster of this magnitude and did not have the resources to adequately deal with it. If we send disaster relief immediately, we'll boost our political capital not only in Alaska, but across the nation, as we prove we are capable of protecting our citizens. Government support is increased, negative 10 political power, more damage. Rural voters will like us a little bit more. 6% chance that that this will be a controversy. Why would 6% chance that it's going to be a controversy? Oh no, you're saving too many Americans. Make it make sense. Okay, Johannesburg has fallen. That's good for us. How many troops does the African Volksstaat actually have? They are providing 32 to 54 divisions, which is by far the largest power of the of all of them here. So we can actually get them to capitulate. That'll actually be a pretty decisive blow to the power of the fascist in Africa. So then I want 2 of you to go to Pretoria. Peace events has, that is... So what's happening in Ukraine? Ukraine is now split between the Soviets and the Ukrainian state. We've kind of held off the Japanese for now, but our units are taking heavy, heavy damage. Because the Japanese just have like an insane modifier against us, which is sad. Bird attention to the military, not really necessary. Foreign policy, frontline, anything we can do here. Operation Crackpot. What about on the home front? We're not doing something else domestic. I guess we're still doing our joint conference here. Okay. We've taken Pretoria. We have Johannesburg now. The Battle of Johannesburg. Okay, this is just the same events. Okay. Cold War interface. Don't worry about that too much. And I want to see, again, where are they at? They are currently at 32%. Their war support is at 69. They are losing. Polls have been updated. Okay, let's see how the race is going. This is in Odessa. Presidential election. I mean, pretty close. How is the Senate looking? I mean, it's looking for us to have a majority, which is just crazy. Okay, we have to watch this like a god dang hawk. Okay, can I send you volunteers now? No, they're still mad at us. Uninspiring NPC campaign. Or MPP. How dare you? Okay, well, Texas is pretty big, right? Like, that's a pretty big state. 90, 95. We'll go one more province. Respectable campaign. How dare... Why is Johannesburg empty? Where's my other unit? Oh, there's 2 units here. Okay, Johannesburg is now once again no longer encircled. Okay, move you here. Like, we're so close. We are so close to defeating the Boers. And again, when the Boers are dead, I don't think any of the other factions can really put up too much threat against us. 2 in Paraguay. We have 3 different events. Holy hell. Okay, we'll read these all one at a time. Invest in India. New expansion to the dockyard of Kandia, financed by Wells Fargo Bank and TIAA. Blast furnaces, courtesy of engineers from Bethlehem Steel to kickstart new iron industry in Karnataka. Agreements from companies such as the Fruta Loom, Woolrich, and Brick Brothers to source more cotton in the fields of Gujarat and the Andhra Pradesh. All these developments and more are fulfilling financial papers across the country. It seems that every American company with enough capital is putting money into Indian projects. The state of the West Indian U.S. relations is at an all-time high, and as a result, investors see credible opportunities in the Republic. We love to see it. The death of MacArthur. Today, General Douglas MacArthur, who led the defense of the Philippines at the start of the Pacific War, has died at Walter Reed Army Medical Center of Byerly, Kyrus in the age of 84. After a state funeral authorized by the president, he will be laid to rest in Norfolk, Virginia. MacArthur has a contested and complicated legacy. He served both in France in the First World War, as superintendent of West Point, served as part of the court-martial of General Billy Mitchell, and after he was assigned to the Philippines, during which he became the youngest American major general at the age of 44, and was appointed Army Chief of Staff in 1930. And after leaving that post, was named Field Marshal for the semi-independent Filipino Army in 1935. But his role in putting down the bonus army in World War I veterans in 1932, and his failure to prevent the Japanese from occupying the Philippines in his dismissal by President Thomas Dewey, and has since been considered either a man who lost Pacific or as a scapegoat for the failed American war effort against Japan. He used his new civilian role to try to rally American people to fight for the war, but his constant criticism of President Dewey and Eisenhower alienated him from politics and the general public, especially when he made comments favorably admiring Asian cultures and people later in the war. The general's detractors considered him an egotistical, aloof, and pretentious, while others called him courageous, intelligent, and inspiring. Many NBP members and leaders have long believed that MacArthur could have won the war against Japan, and had he been properly supported, but that is a question that will never be answered. Kennedy shows his true colors. Among the moral guiding principles of our nation is the belief that all men are created equal before the law, and there's nobody in our government, nor should there be anybody who considers himself immune to the very laws he swore to defend and uphold. This is not a member of partisanship, but this is a member of democracy and dictatorship, of Americanism and anti-Americanism. Vice President Kennedy, are you insinuating that the investigation of the president for criminal activity is justified? I am saying that the question of alleged wrongdoing of the president's pact can only be answered in the court of law. If President Nixon is impeached and removed from office, how will you react? I would respect the decision of the Senate. Nixon grabbed the clicker and switched it off the television with a grunt of frustration. He allowed the Kennedy to smooth things over at the press conference. Instead, he all but admitted that he was leaving his own president out to dry. Every day, it felt as if another prominent member of the administration was issuing some kind of veiled condemnation, hoping to save their own hides as if it went down, just like rats on a sinking ship. And rats, they most certainly are. Okay, we're doing well. We have some Australian troops moving away in this direction. We just got to make sure, because you're at 40. Australian division's going to go here. We're still holding this just fine. I want you to provide a little bit of support on this boy. Then you're going to go to Petersburg. I want them dead. That's all I want. Let's send India some weapons. Publish war stories. We're still in the advisory stage. Security forces. Let's improve. Let's get some improvised airfields. And for you, look at power gain 7%. More war support. I mean, war support's fine. Command power goes up. You know what? Let's publish some war stories. People love a good war story. New president of France. That is a... Well, I mean, they're still a fascist, but it's a different fascist. Ugly people. The ugly American was aware that he was not the only man. That he was the only man not wearing a tie. Having just returned from some villages to deliver construction equipment, he found himself in a mansion of a Haitian foreign minister in a rough, dirt-fleckled khakis, surrounded by fashionably dressed men. Were it not for the soldiers standing near the window as guests laughed and drank, one would not be able to tell that they were in the middle of a war zone. My, aren't you a mess?" said the voice. He turned to see another older man in a fine suit sipping a martini and flashed a small grin. "I do hope the wages in the foreign service haven't gotten so bad that men can't afford suits anymore. I'm looking for the deputy chief of the mission. Have you?" Probably smoking some reefers. "Having a good time. A few of your State Department friends took some women upstairs a while ago. If you want to go check up on the bedrooms." The American opened his mouth, but at the moment, there was a loud cheer as a man in a military dress uniform opened a bottle of champagne with a saber, white foam slopping out of the carpet. The man studied it quizzically. You ever think about how hard the people of these places have to work to keep us entertained? The best parties, the best drinks, the best girls. I was in Iraq right before this coup, and right before the coup, and it was the same thing, except it was for the Italians. He seemed lost in his thoughts. I suppose that they had stopped having those things there, and there'd be no reason to even go there. There's another shithole on the map. The other American could not hide his disgust. He shook his head and walked away without another word. "Best of luck finding your friend," the man called up. "There's drinks here when you give up." Okay. 65, 60. Come on, okay, fine. We'll read this event, and it'll probably be the end. We'll finish the war in South Africa next time. The object of torture. Through eyes clouded by tears, the Boers glazed upon his tormentors, a pair of young men. Red hair, oiled back, sleeves rolled up, hard eyes. He braced himself for what he knew was coming. Now he had been awoken. His torture began anew. One of the men punched him full force in the stomach and the chest, over and over again as the others watched, asking questions he didn't know the answers to. After a time, the torturer went to wash his hands clean while the boar splat blood over the concrete floor. It glistened in the harsh yellow glare of the sodium lights. Next came the pliers. He was determined not to scream, but his resolve broke immediately as the frowning torturer ripped out his thumbnail. The questioner continued in his monotonous drone, speaking the Afrikaans of one who had not been born to it. Where were they? How many were there? Where their supplies coming from? All the boar could say was that he did not know, but they were not satisfied. After his remaining fingernails were lying on the floor in pools of blood, the torturer went to work on his teeth. After a time, the boar awoke. He wondered how much time he had passed in the dank, stinking cellar. The torturer wheeled the car battery forward and attached the jumper cables to it, and clipped the clamps to his nipples. The boar felt electricity light his brain up like a Christmas tree. For a moment, the shock was so strong he didn't even feel the pain. But it came. Oh, it came. When he proved once again unable to answer the question, the torturer swapped the clamps to his testicles. Eventually, morning came. In an alley in Cape Town, down by the docks, a nondescript door opened. A young man with slick back red hair walked outside into dim sunlight, rolling his shoulders back and stretching his neck. Behind him, awkwardly dragged a garbage bag, the contents sloshing around with every step. He heaved it into an already overflowing dumpster, and shielding his eyes from the morning bright light, he made his way back inside. Soon, they would bring in the next prisoner. This light is not for those men. Negative 30 political power, negative 10 command power. Optics decreased by a small amount. Well, after that horrible description, I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, thumbs up. Not enjoying, give me a thumbs down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.